I'm generally very positive about Citibank, particularly their American Airlines credit cards. Because I've been a status flyer with American for years, I still use them as my primary airline, and I believe that their points are perhaps the most valuable in all of the travel world. But they just came out with a brand new credit card. And after seeing some of the recent reviews and digging into it myself, it may be the worst airline card ever produced, especially by American Airlines. But when I looked at it even closer, for some people, it may also be one of the best. So let's look at it together, and if you would, please hit the like and subscribe button. The new American Airlines AAdvantage Globe Card by Citibank is their newest entry into their really extensive lineup of credit cards. And I'm guessing this is being added right now because in the very near future, Citibank will acquire all of Barclays customers that have had the American Airlines Aviator cards, the red card and the silver card. Now, one of the reasons I think they're probably creating this card, because it's a $350 annual fee card that kind of sits in between their top-level $595 executive card with full Admirals Club lounge access and their Platinum card, which is a $95 kind of mid-level credit card. And so this one fits right in the middle at $350. And I think one of the motivations is probably to have something to meet the needs of those people that are coming over from Barclays with the Aviator Silver card, which is right around a $200 annual fee. And I think there's also some hints to that with at least one of the credits that's being offered on this card. Now, when it comes to the Globe card, this card, as we mentioned, has a $350 annual fee, so it's certainly not one of the top-tier expensive cards, but it's not cheap either. It's kind of positioned right there in the middle as a direct competitor to the Delta Platinum card by American Express, which is also a $350 a year card. And it has some similar features to that card. One of the things it has is a companion certificate. The Delta card also has a companion certificate. It has several credits, just like the Delta card. They're different, but it seems like they're trying to follow that same playbook. So how does the card really look? Well, first of all, for that $350 annual fee, as a sign-up bonus right now, you could receive 90,000 American Airlines miles for $5,000 in spend. Now, that's really not that bad. I mean, 90,000 AA miles are very, very valuable. That'll get you several trips over to Europe, or if you wanted, you could fly business class trips, and they're about 57,000 points or so when you find a good award rate. So that's really almost 2 business class flights. So that's really pretty good. Or like we said, domestically, you can often get them for 10,000 or 12,000 points. So you could fly several one-way domestic flights with that sign-up bonus. So that's pretty good and fairly valuable as well. The multipliers on the card are nothing to write home about. That's kind of typical for airline cards. I don't know why it is that airline cards often have worse multipliers. In fact, pretty much all the time have worse multipliers than cards that are associated with the big banks and their transferable currencies like American Express and Citi and Chase, but that's kind of typical. So this one has 3x on American Airlines flights bought directly. It also has 6x on American Airlines Hotel Portal, which is kind of a good deal because the Hotel Portal with American gives you extra points on top of that, and it also gives you extra loyalty points. So I use that frequently. It's pretty good. It's 6x on that. Not as good as the 10x you get on the executive card. It's Big Brother, but not bad at all. It has a couple 2x categories. It has dining, and then they call it something different, but basically transit. It covers things like subways and rideshare and stuff like that. And then 1x on everything else. So it's kind of par for the course for an airline card. Nothing special, but nothing all that bad either when you compare it to all of its competitors. So the sign-up bonus, pretty good. The multipliers, so-so. Now, digging into the credits and what you get in benefits for that $350 annual fee is why initially when I saw this card, and I just noticed it yesterday, and what's really intriguing about it is that at first glance I thought this is the worst American Airlines card imaginable. It is bad. And in fact, one of the credits I think could compete for the worst credit on any credit card. By the way, I did a video on that recently, and I kind of gave out awards for the worst credits, and American Airlines on their executive card had the worst credit, their lift credit. It's awful. Well, this credit's pretty bad too. And what it is it's the Turo credit. Now, with this credit, they say you can get back a pretty good amount of money if you rent cars with Turo. A total of $240, but it's broken up in typical terrible credit fashion to $30 every time you rent one. And you can only do it once every statement cycle. So basically, for 8 different months, you could rent a Turo and you're going to get $30 back on each of those. Well, who rents a Turo every month or 8 times a year? I suppose there are people who do, but it just seems like a weird partnership. Why didn't they go? They have Avis with the executive card. Why didn't they go with one of those? Well, because again, they're probably hoping and they're probably going to get a lot of breakage on that. So a lot of people won't use that credit. So I think that is just an absolutely atrocious credit. And when I first saw that, I thought, oh, this isn't very good. The rest of the credits aren't that special either. You get a $100 splurge credit, but it's not near as good as the quote splurge credit that you get on the Citi Strata Elite card, because that one you can do American Airlines directly. That one also has a few other options like Best Buy. I didn't see Best Buy on this one. You can use it for AA hotels, so that may be one of the best uses of it. It also has First Dibs and Live Nation, so those could be useful, especially the Live Nation. So the $100, you probably could get your money back on that. So I wouldn't say it's a great credit, but I wouldn't say it's a terrible credit either. So it's just kind of mid in that sense. Now, this is the one that I think really shows that they're trying to make a place for those Aviator Silver card holders that are coming over from Barclays. And that is, it has a $100 in-flight purchases credit. Now, you could use that on Wi-Fi until they start offering free Wi-Fi, which is supposed to be coming in the very near future. So after that, it's just for food and beverages. Well, that is almost a parallel of what you get on the Aviator Silver card, but not as good. On the Aviator Silver card, you get $25 a day in food and beverage purchases. And this one, you get a total of $100. So basically, they're still giving people some of those food and beverage purchases, but they're not making it unlimited. They're limited it to $100. So, could you get some value back from that? Yes. Is it really worth $100 to get a cheese tray with a little bit of fruit on the plane or a snack tapas box or whatever it may be? I don't know. But for me, I would think it's not a great credit, but one that probably you could get part of the value from, but I would not consider it worth $100 under any stretch of the imagination. You get all the typical things you get with an airline card. You get priority boarding. You get a free check bag for yourself and up to 8 companions. And of course, you get priority check-in and all of that stuff. So that's helpful. It also gives 1 loyalty point per dollar, as all American cards do, to help you get to status. So that stuff is fine, but it's kind of typical par for the course when it comes to airline cards. But now we get to the 2 credits that are kind of intriguing. Well, when it comes to the companion certificate, it's not as good as Delta has on their card. On Delta, you buy a main cabin ticket and you get the companion for free. It's for free. You don't have to pay $99 plus taxes and fees. You just pay the taxes and fees with the Delta card. This one's not quite as, it's $99 less meaningful because you're paying $99 plus the taxes and fees. So you got to discount it. It's worth $100 less than the one with Delta is. But that could still, if you fly American a lot, which we fly American a lot, so, and we do some paid flights. So that could be beneficial. And as I looked at that, I thought, well, maybe that and the $100 splurge, maybe it would offset that annual fee. But now I want to get to the part that was really intriguing, because with all of that I've described, I would still have said this is a terrible credit card. This is an awful airline card. Why would anybody get this when you can get almost everything the same from that Platinum card that's its little brother, and you can get a whole lot better because this card gives 4 Admirals Club passes. But when you look at the executive card, it's big brother, and yes, it is $595 a year, but that card gives you a full access to Admirals Clubs and way more Admirals Clubs and partner lounges for you and 2 guests or your entire family. So if you're looking for lounge access, this is not the card for it. It's big brother is the card you want to get. So I look at it and I say, this just is like a weird middle entry. Yes, that splurge credit, maybe. And yes, you could get some value. I would get some value from that companion certificate. But then, before I made the final determination to say this is the worst card, I saw something else and I dug into the terms. And now this benefit that we're going to discuss is really only good for certain people. So for a lot of people, it will be utterly meaningless and the card will still be absolutely atrocious. But for certain people, myself included, I think it's going to make the card really valuable. And that is, it has a special feature that gives you loyalty points boosts throughout your journey throughout the year as you're flying on American Airlines. They call it the Flight Streak Perk. And how it works, and I couldn't believe how it worked when I dug into the terms and conditions, because everything else on this card is like, oh, it's a Turo credit. And yeah, I got to spend $100 and get like microwaved food on the plane. That's not good. And then the companion certificate, I got to pay $99 for that. That's just, it's okay, but it's not good. But then when I looked at this, I'm like, what does this mean? Well, you get 5,000 loyalty points, and those are the metric that American uses to get to your status. And their status levels are like 40,000 points gets you to gold status, and then 75,000 points get you to platinum. And platinum is where I think the sweet spot is, because that's where you can book main cabin extra, those better seats that give you better service, better food, that give you way more leg room. They're really comfortable. And even the seats that are in the exit rows that have way more room, even in some regards, than their business class or their first class seats do on domestic travel. So it's like, that's a good feature. And you can get those at Platinum when you book your ticket, when you're booking it. So that's a good place. 125,000, you get Platinum Pro, and that gets you better status with Oneworld, gets you into all the business class lounges and first class lounges when you're flying in economy overseas. And so that's a really good one. And then at 200,000, you get their Executive Platinum, which is going to, of course, get you more upgrades and all of that. So those are their different status tiers. Well, you have to have those different loyalty points totals to get to those status tiers. And there are ways to kind of get around it, or to get bonuses. You can use the shopping portal. You can use the AA hotels. That's a really good way to do it. You can also spend on the executive card. It's Big Brother, because that one at 50,000 loyalty points and at 90,000 loyalty points gives you a 10,000 point bonus. Well, I have that card. And I got to looking into this and I thought, oh, that won't be easy to get. But then as I read the terms and conditions, it says you're getting 5,000 loyalty points with this Flight Streak Perk for every 4 segments that you fly on a paid flight. It doesn't work on rewards flights. It doesn't work on flights you book with your points and miles. But if you're doing some American Airlines flights that are paid, so if you're like me and you do some consulting and you do some work and you travel for things that are being reimbursed, I mean, that is really, really kind of neat, because it's segments. It's not round trip flights, it's segments. So if you're in an airport where you've got a layover at one of their hubs, which is my circumstance, that means that every round trip flight I take that's paid has got 4 segments. So that means 3 different round trip flights will get me that 5,000 bonus to my loyalty points 3 different times. And so that's the maximum you can get, 15,000 total per year. So you can do 5,000 for your first 4 segments, 5,000 for your next 4 segments, 5,000 for your third more segments. And that is, I mean, for somebody like me, now if you're flying hub to hub, you wouldn't be as many segments. But if you're flying and you've got a layover, that's just a round trip. You're getting an extra 5,000 loyalty points 3 times. So I got to doing a little bit of research on this. So if you have the executive card and you're getting that 10,000 boost at both 50,000 points and 90,000 points, and then you add this and you have some paid round trip flights, then you're most likely going to get a total of 35,000 extra loyalty points along the way if you had those 2 cards. So that would mean that, okay, let's say that you were just using this card and you wanted to get to gold status. That means you only have to have 25,000 loyalty points because 40,000 minus 15 is 25,000. That means if you want to get to platinum, which is the really, really sweet spot in my opinion, then to get that 75,000, if you had both the cards, you're going to get 15 plus another 10 for hitting 50,000 points with the executive card. And so you only have to have 50,000 total loyalty points to hit platinum status. And it goes up as you go up the ladder of the different status tiers. So the truth is that I look at this card, and with that in mind, for heavy flyers, people who fly a lot on paid flights with American Airlines, I would say at least 3 a year. If you do 3 a year paid flights with American, I'm not sure this isn't one of the best cards if you're hunting loyalty with American Airlines. Now, if you're not that person, I think the card is equally bad as it is good for the loyal American flyer. So it's really interesting because it's kind of a conundrum in that this card is so bad, but then at the same time, for a select group of people, it's so very good. So I was thinking there's no way I'm ever going to get that card. Now I'm having to rethink it because it might really, really, really boost our loyalty, and with that $100 splurge credit, and with, of course, being able to have a companion certificate for just 99 bucks, that I think altogether it could be a really great card for somebody who already has the executive card, who's a heavy flyer with American anyway. This card could be very, very good. So that's my evaluation. Both one of the worst cards and one of the best cards, depending on who you are and how much you fly with American Airlines and how much you want loyalty points to get to status. So let me know what you think down below. I also want to invite you to visit my player 2, Nona. We've been traveling around and she's been trying her hand at YouTube and started a little channel called Away Again Travels with Bop, that's me, aka the Rewards Master, and Nona. She's got a couple videos posted, so I'll put a link to that down in the description below. Please check it out. Please like and subscribe. I know that would encourage her. I appreciate it very much. Thank you for being here, and hopefully I'll see you here next time.